Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 474 today, and we're going to be talking about how to get mail sent from your WordPress website. I'm going to point you to earlier episodes where I've spoken about setting up your DKIM domain keys identified mail, DMARC, SPF, sender protection framework, why they're important. And I'm going to flow on from those. Just to quickly recap it, the idea is that we need to authorize the server or the service that is sending email on behalf of our domain within our domain name settings so that it can actually send that mail. Now, it can always send the mail, but when the internet goes out and says, oh, this email's been received, let's see if this device that has sent on behalf of the domain is authorized to do so. If you don't have the right settings in your domain name settings in your DNS, it's going to fail and it's going to get spammed or it's going to get bounced or it's going to get deleted and lost in the ether. So today what I want to do is show you my preferred method for setting up a WordPress website to alleviate all of these issues. And the first thing I really need to point out is that if you can, the best possible thing you can do is make sure that your server is configured correctly. The server that your website sits on is configured correctly to allow you to send email for your domain. That's not always possible. It's actually quite a complex thing to do. And if you're sharing that shared host amongst other customers using the default WordPress sending functionality, WP Mail, it gets really tricky. It's a nightmare. This is normally what causes people the most grief once they get their websites up and running, is that they don't get the email from their website. So today what I want to talk about is Mailgun, why I like to use Mailgun as opposed to trying to set up mail to go on behalf of my use my Google Suite or Gmail or Outlook, or Microsoft, I should say, or using another service provider like SendGrid. And there's any number of things you can do here. The basis of what I'm going to show you will work with all of those. Today I'm going to show you Mailgun. I will show you in other episodes how to set up Google Suite and Microsoft to do all this, but let's just start with my preferred go-to method, and I'll explain why Mailgun is my preferred go-to method. So what is Mailgun? Mailgun is actually, let me just go and share the screen, shall I? We'll get into it. Okay, so what I have here, I'm just going to split the screen across. Mailgun, it's a transactional email delivery service and API for developers. Okay, it's designed to deliver email on behalf of your domain name, on behalf of you. That is such an esoteric term, and I know that I glaze over when I look at it. What you need to consider, or you need to know about, or you really need to know about Mailgun is that when you have this set up correctly, when you have the right plugin on your WordPress website, your WordPress website will use Mailgun to send your mail, and Mailgun will make sure that your mail gets through, your email gets through. Why do I want to use a service like Mailgun? Well, they put in all the hard work to manage the mail servers and keep the reputation of the mail server clean. All these guys do, all this company does, is email delivery. They've got a whole heap of products around it, but what they focus on and what they're really good at doing is mail delivery. So I searched high and low for a provider that I could use and that could do what I wanted it to do. There's SendGrid, there's Amazon SES Mail, there's several others, but when I went to them, they all had a monthly fee. When I started with Mailgun, it had on its pricing table a free offer, a free level that you could just send up to X number of X thousand of messages a month, and then you pay like 1 cent a message, and 1 cent for the next 1,000 messages. Like it works really well, especially when you've got a site that doesn't send a heap of mail on your behalf. And yeah, when you're talking about smaller WordPress websites, yeah, this works perfectly. Okay, so let's have a look at their pricing, and then I'm going to show you a little trick here. So under the pricing, if you go to the pricing table, you're going to get, well, Charlie, we can't see the Flex program here. You're right. They've taken the Flex program off of their pricing screen, and it starts at you can try it out for 100 emails a day. Get 2 API keys. I don't know how long that trial is. It's only it's like 7 days or 14 days. You can try it out for free. What I'd recommend is when we go through this process, you select the try for free and go through. If you wanted to, if you're going to have lots of emails, you could go to the $15 a month plan. That works perfectly well. If you go to the foundation, you get basically as many of these as you want. Flex will give you the foundation program without the $35 a month fee. It doesn't give you 50,000 emails. It gives you 1,000 emails a month, I think it is. We can check that in a minute. And then you pay $1.20 or a dollar for every 1,000. I think it is. I think it's $1 for every 1,000. I think it is. Okay, so why Mailgun? Because these guys are experts at it. They aren't the only game in town, but I have found them to be highly reliable. They're easy to use, and honestly, for someone who's got such a low amount of email volume coming off of various websites, they're perfect. So let's have a look. What you need to do is sign up for Mailgun. So you can do start for free. I'm not going to go through the sign up process, but we're going to click the start for free button. When you start the start for free button, you get a free 30-day trial on the foundation. If you go to basic, you lose the free trial. So just choose the foundation 50K. Take the free trial to get yourself set up. Make sure you go through and you fill in everything here, create your account. Once you create your account, you'll be asked to verify it. You'll get an email to the email that you enter here, and that will ask you to verify the email. When you verify the email, you will then be asked to enter a mobile number, and it will send you a code. It has to be a mobile number that is unique on the Mailgun system. So if, like me, you have multiple accounts, you've got to have a different different mobile number for each account. Okay, let's go back to, I have gone through that process. Now that I've gone through that process, I have logged in, and you can see I chose the basic 10K. What I wanted to do here, we'll just go to the dashboard. Okay, when you log in, this is what it's going to look like to begin with. Just your basics here. Now you need to get your Mailgun account set up before we go back to WordPress to do what we do. And I want to go through this process because there is a lot here to do. Well, yeah. Well, from the dashboard, the first thing you probably want to do is downgrade your account. Even if you're on the 30-day free account, I'd recommend doing it up front so that you don't forget you've got to do it. How do you do that? You come across to your name at the top here, come down to plan and billing, and from Mailgun, from here where you've got Mailgun Send and it says whatever program you're on, click unsubscribe. Now what this does is this will move you to your Flex pay as you go option. This plan does not incur a fixed monthly subscription and only bills you for the amount of emails you send. $0 a month, extra email starting at $1 per 1,000. There you go. That's US dollars, by the way. So I'm going to click unsubscribe. It's going to ask me to downgrade. And we wait. Okay, and you get a little message down the bottom here saying your account has been scheduled for downgrade. Now I am on the Flex plan, and if I just come back into plans and billing, oh, it hasn't done it yet. It'll downgrade it. I've already requested the downgrade. It will downgrade it. Please make sure you do that early so you don't forget and you don't get hit with your $15 or your $35 a month fee for something that you really don't need to use. We've verified the account and we've downgraded it, so we're not going to get hit with a fee at the end of the month because we get busy and we forget to go back and do it. The next thing is to actually set up Mailgun so that you can use a domain name, a custom domain name to send on your behalf. Most of us, when we set up our website, think we're going to just send email and we want it to be sent from our primary domain. So in my case, askcharlyleetham.com. That's actually not the best practice for doing this. So it's taken me a long time to work out and a long time to wrap my head around. Sometimes it can take me a while to get a concept, and sometimes I can get it really early. And I had to really go and look into it and see why. Have you noticed when you get emails from retailers, they'll have their domain name in it? I'm just trying to think of one who sent me one recently. Oh, let's go with Flybuys. I think it's Flybuys. Might have been Woolies, one of those. When you look at the emails that you get in, they come from woolworths.com, but they don't necessarily come from just woolworths.com. They might come from edm.woolworths.com. They might come from marketing.woolworths.com. They might come from some really vague subdomain.woolworths.com. Why do they do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons they do that. First of all, it really helps with your reputation management. What we're going to do today is we're actually going to set up a subdomain, a subdomain on our custom domain that uses Mailgun. And what that will allow us to do is segment out the mail that goes out from our website in this case, uses Mailgun to do it, and it will keep the reputation of our main domain clean, whilst also allowing us to segment traffic and see what is happening on behalf of different mailing streams. We are thinking at this point as a big business or a bigger business than just a sole provider or not. I know it sounds like it's overkill, but trust me when I say this has saved me so many times. This has saved customers so many times by doing this. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom domain within Mailgun. We're going to use our domain name, but we're going to use a subdomain to do it, to keep our email segment, our email marketing segmented, to allow our reputation management to kick in and do what we need it to do. And then we're going to go to WordPress and we're going to configure the Mailgun plugin in WordPress to be able to send mail on our behalf. From the setup screen or from your dashboard in Mailgun, so Mailgun dashboard, you've got all this information. Now, if you've just created your account, you've probably got this Get Started menu. You can create an API key. You can set up a custom domain. You can send a test email. You can send a production email. In this case, what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is set up our custom domain, because we don't want an API key unless it's using our custom domain, and the API keys are tied to our custom domains. The way we do that is we go to set up a domain and it asks us here to add a domain, and then it's going to go through and verify it. In this case, it's asking me what our domain subdomain is. I'm going to put demo.geekgoddess. webhosting.com. I hope that doesn't trip me up today. Yep, so we're going to use, actually, you know, what we'll do is we'll use EDM, EDM, electronically delivered mail. That's how I think of it. In the domain region, you can choose US or EU. For Australians, I would recommend we stick with US. If you are in the EU and you need to make sure that you're complying with all those GDPR rules, you really need to choose the EU. For us, though, we are just going to choose the US. Now you'll notice here it says IP and DKIM options can be found in advanced settings. Let's just add the domain first. Now it's telling us we've got to set up our domain. It's giving us all of the records that we need to set up on our domain name. We need to go to our domain provider, our DNS manager, to do this. You can do this in one of two ways. First of all, there's a guide here. I'm going to show you how to do it on Cloudflare. In subsequent videos, I'll show you how to do it on other providers as well. You can follow their guide, or if you have a techie person working for you, you can say send to a coworker and put their email address in, and it will send them these details. But we're going to work through this, okay? First thing we need to do is work out who we are managed through. In this case, I'm managed through Cloudflare. And then I'm going to want to add all of these records in through Cloudflare. So I have, let's see if it's logged me out, already logged into Cloudflare. I hope it's left me logged in. It has. Again, this will all be, a lot of this is going to be blurred out because I've got a lot of customers that I manage I have that I'm a manager on. But in Cloudflare, what I need to do is go to my account. So when you come in, there'll generally only be one account for you. I'm going to go to my account. And that puts me into my account here, and it's asking me to find the domain. So I can add a domain or I can manage a domain. I have my domain already starred, so I'm just going to go into that. Then I'm going to come down on the left-hand side to the DNS menu. And we have a lot of information here. Again, a lot of this is going to be blurred out, only because, you know, I need to protect privacy of people. Okay, come back to our Mailgun, and it says we need to add all these records. So it says we need to add a text record with this host name, with this value. This is easy. You see they're giving you this copy button. I'm just going to copy all this stuff and go across into it. So text, come back to my DNS. I'm going to say add a record in Mailgun. I'm going to say text. Under the type, you're going to find TXT. In the name, I'm going to paste what I just copied. Come down to the content. Go back to my setup screen, copy the value, paste it in. Make sure it looks right. Now, if you're in Cloudflare, you can put a little comment here. I'm going to put EDM Mailgun setup. Okay, so this is actually setting up the domain key, the DKIM key on Mailgun to make sure that on Cloudflare, so that Mailgun can send on behalf of EDM.geek.goddess. Okay, next one, we've got a second one we've got to do. This is actually the SPF record. Now, because I am adding a new subdomain, I don't actually have to worry about the fact that I've got an existing SPF record. Just paste that in there, come and get. If I had an existing SPF record, I most certainly would not be just pasting in a new one. I would have to go in and edit the existing SPF record to add Mailgun to it. I'm not going to cover that today. It's probably the subject of yet another video. We need to set up the MX record. So I'm going to copy the domain name, and I can tell you now it's MXA and MXB. So rather than jumping back and forwards between the two screens here. Add a new record, MX, paste in the domain name, and it's mxa.mailgun.org. Leave the time to live as auto and set the priority to 10. Click save. We need to add a second one. Add record. MX. I'm going to paste in that again, and we're going to put mxb.mailgun.org. Now I am going to say doing this, I'm going to set the priority to 20. Now I'm going to say doing this in Cloudflare is actually a lot easier than doing it in some of the other providers that I've used before. So now we have 4 entries for Mailgun. We've got the the domain key, the DKIM. We've got the SPF record, and we've got 2 MX records set up. There's one more that we need to set up. We need to set up a CNAME. I'm going to copy that, and we're going to set it to mailgun.org. Let's say add a record, CNAME, paste that in, and mailgun.org. Now, because we're on Cloudflare, we're going to actually turn the proxy status off. I'm going to leave this time to live, the TTL, time to live, set to auto, and click save. Yes, it's a lot of copying and pasting. As long as you copy and paste correctly, these things shouldn't be a problem. Now we've got the 5 records added. And we're going to say close. Then we're going to go to the send domains. And we're going to click on EDM. So this is everything we were just given in that pop-up. And we're going to say verify because I've already added it. And you'll see I've gone green. Everything has gone from unverified to active. So now edm.geekgoddesswebhosting.com has been authorized to send, has authorized Mailgun. It knows about Mailgun. When Mailgun tries to send on behalf of the domain, it's all going to go through. Once you've done that, we need to get an API key. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. You could use this just to send as plain old SMTP. So, you know, when you set up your mail, your desktop mail, and you want to put in a sending server, you could do it this way. Because I'm going to be using the Mailgun plugin on WordPress, we're just going to go to sending keys. And under sending keys, we're going to add a sending key. We're going to give it a short and sweet name. So when we come back and look at this, we know what it is. I'm going to call it website. Create a sending key. I'm going to copy that to my dashboard, and I'm going to leave it there in case I need to come back and do something. And I will be back with you in just a moment. Okie dokie, we have set up Mailgun, and now we are back onto our WordPress website. I have already installed, so just from our WP admin dashboard, you know how to log in there. Come down to plugins, and we're just going to have a look. I've already installed the Mailgun plugin. I'm not going to go through how you install it. It's installed, it's ready to configure. I haven't done any configuration on it. From here, you can either go to the settings menu, or if you've lost it and you just want to go through and you're elsewhere and you go, I know it's in the menu somewhere. It's under settings, Mailgun. Now we need to configure this to connect to the account we just created and set up. So going through the configuration, we say select your region. This has to be the region that you configured your domain name on. If you remember, I said if you're in Australia, you could probably get away with using the US. If you're in Europe and you really need to comply with GDPR, you need to use Europe. Because we're with US, we're going to stay with US. We want to use the HTTP API. Yes, if you don't say that, we can't use the API key. The Mailgun domain name is the one that we just set up. So in my case, it's edm.goddesswebhosting.com. And in here, we paste the API key that we took from here. So from Mailgun, once you've copied your API key, come back in and the API key goes in here. Now, honestly, I would recommend that you put this API key in a secure passcard in one of the notes, even if it's with your login for Mailgun. Put it in the notes file so that you've got it, so that if you need to go back and just recheck things, you've got it there. If you don't, you're going to have to remove the API key and re-add it and reset here, because you can't see it. Once you've closed this down, you cannot see that API key again. Click tracking. I strongly recommend for WordPress websites, turn it off and turn open tracking off. You don't need it on for what we're doing here, and I have had it where it's caused some grief for us. In the from address, I like to put no reply at the subdomain that we're using to send on that we've configured on Mailgun. So in this case, no reply at edm.getgoddesswebhosting.com. Why do I do that? Because here I have the ability to have a reply to address, and in my reply to address, I can put whatever address I want. So it might be support at Ask Charly Leetham, for example. The from name, I normally put something very descriptive here. Now, this isn't only going to get used if you don't have something, if you don't have a program that actually replaces all of this. I'm going to come to it. I promise we'll get there. So I'm just going to say Ask Charly Leetham demo site. Help if I can type. Okay, so here we can override the from detail. So this says, if enabled, all mails will be sent with this above information, regardless of the values set by other plugins. This is useful for cases where other plugins don't play nicely with the from and from address settings, the from name and from address settings. I generally set it to no because I use plugins that work nicely and I can get more granularity out of them than setting it here, but that's entirely up to you. Suppress click tracking for password reset emails. Absolutely. Make sure you're not click tracking password reset emails. We aren't using lists at all, so I'm not going to cover those at all in this video. Click save, and then we come down again to the once you click save, put you back up the bottom, come down to the bottom of the page and hit test configuration. And you'll see here it says Mailgun HTTP API test success status success. It's green. If it fails, it'll be red. You'll know that it hasn't. So what that means is that our website has created a connection to Mailgun and has sent an email via Mailgun. Let's go have a look back into our Mailgun settings. Come across to the sending menu and go to logs. And you will see here under our logs, now with the Flex account, you only get 5 days worth of logs. So if you want longer logs, you do need to upgrade the account. You still get 5 days worth of logs, which is great for people like me who come in and do some testing and make sure it's all working. This tells us 2 things. It tells us that the message was accepted here by Mailgun. It gives us all of the information. It's all gobbledygook, I know. We can look at the details of it. Tells us where it's come from, tells us the history. I'm going to go back. And then it's telling me that it was delivered, which means it was handed off to support at Ask Charly Leetham. it was accepted by my mail provider. So this is really handy if you're getting caught and people are saying, but we're not getting our email. We can at least check on these sections here to make sure that it's getting through Mailgun and being handed off. If we've got a problem at the other end, then we know that that's where we need to start troubleshooting. So that's how you created a Mailgun account. That's how you connect your WordPress website to your Mailgun account. In tomorrow's video, I'm actually going to go through how we then use that within Gravity Forms and other places that we can use it. So it was pretty full on. There's a lot there. We went through a few things. We went very quickly. The things that you need to consider when you create your Mailgun account. I didn't go through how to create the Mailgun account. We went through downgrading the Mailgun account to a Flex account so that you pay as you go. I think you get 1,000 emails in a month before you start paying $1 for every 1,000, which is immensely cheap in the scheme of things. If you are sending more than 1,000 emails from your website, maybe there's a better way of doing it too. But I also went through why I prefer Mailgun to using other things. Then after we created our Mailgun account and downgraded the account, I went through how to add a custom domain, why we want to use subdomains to send on an email on our behalf rather than our main domain. I went through how to add the records to your domain name using Cloudflare. I did say I would come back later on and do it for other domains, for other providers, which I absolutely will. And then I went through how you connect your WordPress website to your Mailgun account to make it work just perfectly for you. In the next coming videos, I will actually show you how we connect our forms to it and things to consider when you're connecting your forms, particularly Gravity Forms. And I'll go through a couple of other things there as well. Okay, that was a lot. What did you guys think? Do you have questions? Did I confuse you? Did I make it just way too much? Let me know. If wherever you're watching or listening to this video, leave comments below. Come across to my locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. Join the conversation there. I'd love to have you. It is for business owners who are trying to get a handle on their tech without actually having to delve in and become aficionados or experts in any particular field. Just get a great handle on it. Become a good generalist. If this video was useful to you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. And tomorrow I will see you and we will talk about how to actually use all this new information in setting up the sending parameters for our forms. See you guys. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.